Parent Information Center of New Hampshire and New Hampshire Family Voices with the Yeah Council present the Yeah Council podcast. The Yeah Council stands for Youth, for Education, Advocacy, and Healthcare. We're so excited you're joining us today. Welcome to our series on hiring support staff. In this series, we discuss how support staff can make a difference in a youth's life, the interviewing and hiring process. We have an episode called What Now, which discusses backup plans, and tips and tricks to keep the ball rolling. Welcome back to episode 3, part 2. We call this episode What Now to talk about what comes up after the hiring process, the what ifs, backup plans, and things to keep in mind. In part 1, we heard from Keegan and his valuable perspective and lessons on the different what ifs that can come up in the PCA program. And in today's episode of part 2, we're hearing from Abby about the DSP or Direct Support Professional program. She's got some great tips on things to keep in mind. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to our Yeah Council podcast series on hiring support staff. My name is Ansley Peacock, and I am the Transition Initiatives Coordinator for Parent Information Center and New Hampshire Family Voices. I am here today with Abby, who along with Keegan has been a rock star team in creating this podcast. Today's episode we're calling What Now? And we're talking about backup plans, tracking progress, and what the relationship looks like once you've been lucky enough to find and hire a staff person. Let's get started. Hi, Abby. Thank you so much for calling in today.
Hi, you're welcome.
So I've got a question. Let's say you've hired a staff person. Does that mean that you get to go and do whatever you want?
Absolutely no.
Why not?
The staff person is not just there to be a friendly face. Their job is to support you with achieving your goals and increase your independence as outlined in your individualized service plan or agreement.
That's right. In episode 2, we talked about your individualized service agreement through your self-directed services program as part of your area agency. For those who haven't heard that awesome episode on the interviewing process yet, can you give us a quick recap of what each of those things mean?
Self-directed services means that you're still working with your team, but you have more independence or control. And your family also has more responsibility. An individualized service agreement talks about the skills I have, the skills I need to work on, and it sets goals to get there. And it outlines the support I need to reach those goals and the barriers I currently have with those activities.
Thank you so much for all that information. I just want to tell you, I've learned so much from you about these different terms, and I really appreciate you recapping it for our audience. So when you were working with Shannon, your direct support professional, what were some of the goals or life skills that you were tackling together?
We were working on my technology use and making sure that it was a productive and safe way, and my activities of daily living so that I can become more independent, my photography, and horseback riding. Well, my transportation to my horseback riding.
Right, and your horseback riding was a therapeutic program too?
Yes.
That's so cool.
Horseback riding is in my ISA. They cover the cost of the lessons.
Oh, wow. That's really important for families to know. I like that mix of goals because it's a mix of practical day-to-day skills and it includes your interests, which is super important too. What kind of other things did Shannon support you with?
We also worked on things not in the ISA, like social situations with my family and relationships. We condensed my mom's medical history that she had for me, and I'm still doing it, into my own words so that I can share the information in my own voice and present it to myself as something that I understand and not too much on one page. She was also my transportation and to different appointments, and on campus she helped me get used to know where to go for certain things. Plus, she provided me with life tips that she left and the tools that we used.
Wow, I so appreciate all of those things, and especially the putting your health history into your own language so that you can talk to providers directly in a way that makes sense to you and them. That's super important. And I think it's so great that you have those tools to carry on into your next adventure.
Yeah, hopefully a blog post is coming soon about my health information management and my life skills.
That will be super useful to families. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Also, that is a lot of information to cover. How did you keep track of it all?
It's extremely difficult to remember everything we did during those awesome 9 months. However, we did use a Word document, good notes on Shannon's iPad, and many different spreadsheets and tools that we found online to keep track of what we did daily. We also used OneDrive or share documents and folders.
That is so important. And for someone starting out, like, it's really good that they know these tips and tricks.
And in the beginning, we used Google Drive, but Google Drive was not the best tool for us to use, so we switched over to OneDrive.
That's really important too, that you use what works best for you and your team. Were there things that you did to avoid bumps in the road or crunch times?
We were required by my area agency to submit progress notes once a month. Here's how I avoided the last minute scramble of submitting those in the last very minute. We kept a journal with the separate sections for each goal.
So, like those 4 goals we talked about at the beginning of the episode: tech use, photography.
Yeah. For example, Abby changed the sheets or cleaned the toilet for the ADL goal. Not exactly fun, but important so I can learn to live how to live independently and so I don't need support. We would also try to aim for filling out the journal daily, but sometimes we had to play catch up at the beginning of the next shift or at the end of the week because we would get caught up in doing our tasks and realize, oh crap, we don't have enough time to do our journal.
That is a very familiar feeling to a lot of people in the social work field with having to do documentation. And I just want to let you know, I hear you were working on independent skills and tracking those things and keeping a log and keeping those tracking logs in on time. I hope you know how awesome and important that is when it comes to jobs later. Those are such important, great skills. And those goals sound really important, like to do all of them, in a day. How did you fit them in or make sure that you made your progress that your ISA wanted you to?
We didn't do each goal every day. We scheduled things out throughout the week. If I had a horseback lesson, that would count as that goal. We would definitely do goal 2 or ADLs every day.
Got it.
For 9 months. But we got a lot done, and because we looked at the week ahead and planned what we wanted to organize or do that day.
Yeah, again, that time management and planning things out, like I didn't know how to do that at your age. So I'm really glad that you're getting those skills. Is there anything else you'd like our audience to know about what it was like working with Shannon?
Shannon was there for me no matter what, every day. And I was there for her. She was there for me when I lost my grandfather and my best friend's cat. Shannon moved away, and I'm in the middle of looking for staff again, which I'm deeply missing the awesome personal work relationship that I had with her. And staffing is hard. No one seems to know how wonderful being a DSP is, and I wish more people knew.
Yeah, Abby, like you talking about your work and friendship with Shannon, I hope will help our audience know how incredibly rewarding and amazing this work can be supporting individuals like you. And thank you so much for being so authentic and giving us a peek into what that can look like with a youth.
You're welcome.
We also hope that anyone listening to this podcast, that if you do want to learn more about what it's like to become a DSP, that you reach out to New Hampshire Family Voices, Parent Information Center, or your local area agency, and we will be happy to point you in the right direction.
Oh, yeah. Or the Yeah Council.
Yeah, absolutely. They could also email us at the Yeah Council, and we'll have that information at the end of the episode. So Thank you, Abby, again.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining us today. Join us next time for episode 4, Keep the Ball Rolling, Tips and Tricks for a Great Partnership. In this episode, our Yeah Council members will share what they've learned about how to work together with support staff to create a good dynamic. There are so many wonderful tips in here, you aren't going to want to miss it. Our music can be found on Pixabay. The recording artist is called Bo Gleason, and the track is called Picture the Sky. Special thanks once again to the Parent Information Center and New Hampshire Family Voices for their continued support of the Yeah Council, the advocacy and hard work being done by the youth there, and this podcast series. See you next time.